Hi guys, welcome back once again to this series on Vipassana meditation. We've already covered 3 videos where I spoke in depth about what Vipassana is, how you can go ahead and find out if it's the right meditation for you, if it's the right life transforming path for you, how you can go ahead and register, what happens when you go for a Vipassana course, what is the bell schedule, what are the requirements, what are the prerequisites, what is allowed, what's not allowed, what to expect and what not to expect. And here I am in what I hope is going to be the final video of this hopefully useful series on Vipassana, where I'm going to be talking about what happens from day 4 to day 10 of a 10-day Vipassana course, which is how you start your first experience with Vipassana to a 10-day residential course. So here we are going to be talking in depth about what's left to be talked about, which is day 4 to day 10 of the Vipassana course, about how exactly you taught Vipassana, what happens, and also I'm going to be talking towards the end about how best you can make the most optimum utilization of what you learned from the course post the course when you go back home, how you can keep up the practice, and what is the best way in which I personally feel or have experienced that you can make the most of this beautiful life transforming practice, other than what of course they will tell you to do, they will guide you to do. So let's get started without much delay. And if you've liked my previous videos and if you like this video, please go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, share this information, this video ahead with others who might find it useful. So in the previous video one of the things we spoke about was what happens on the first 3 days of your Vipassana course. I told you that you taught Anapana, which is the breath practice, which is not pranayam. It's completely different from pranayam. You taught Anapana. The practice of Anapana is what you're taught on the first 3 days. This is to prepare you for the actual practice of Vipassana, or to be seeing things as they are. So right from when you the first evening of your coming for the course, which is day 0 to day 1, 2 and 3, you've already gone through a lot of Vipassana from morning to evening. So I would say something about at least over nearly 40 hours or 30 to 40 hours of Anapana. You've already gone through that, which is the amount of time available for you to practice Anapana. Now even if you practice sincerely, you're able to practice sincerely for much lesser hours, still it's going really in depth. You are getting so many benefits out of it. You're going really into the subtle parts of you. Also remember that because you have been cut off from any external diversions, there's no eye contact, there's no communication, there's no talking, there is no social media, there is no external stimuli like TV, reading, books, phones, nothing at all. There is very less external stimuli which is being allowed to come into your existence, into your daily experience. So as a result of which, you're only cleaning. You are cleaning, but you are not allowing any other stimulus to come inside, the minimum amount of stimulus. So your cleaning work, your inwards going work is happening at a deeper, more intenser level in all the circumstances which are exactly right for you to be able to practice it. Your food intake, everything else is exactly how it should be for you to have the right amount of energy, nothing excessive and nothing which would not be right for you. Now on day 4, when you come when you wake up as per the bell schedule, when you wake up in the morning at dawn, and when you come for your first meditation of the day to the Vipassana hall at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, is when you are taught Vipassana practice for the first time by Goenkaji. And in this practice, you are given exactly the guidance, the step-by-step guidance. As I said, Goenkaji never goes short on instructions. He likes to talk and he gives you a lot of instructions. So you can never, and they repeat it constantly, so you will never really feel lack of ample instruction. You're taught exactly how to go through it step by step, how not to what not to give focus on, what to give focus on. So Vipassana, in a summary, is the practice where you taught to go through your body. Observe the sensations throughout your body, beginning from the top of your head right down to your soles of your feet. So it is this entire process which is taught to you, how exactly to go about it, what not to focus on. And this is the process, this is the beginning of your being able to see yourself experientially in ways you never thought possible, you never imagined. So this is just the beginning of you have worked hard on the first 3 days to receive this dhan of Dhamma. This is one of the highest dhans, and you worked hard, and now you are ready to receive Vipassana, the practice of Vipassana. And you go through it, you go through your whole body, you're taught to observe the sensations, you're taught not to stay stuck in any particular sensation, whether it's a pleasant sensation or an unpleasant sensation, sensation of pain, sensation of joy, sensation of pleasure, whether it's itching, whether it's heaviness, whether it's lightness, whether it's a feeling of being stuck, whatever kind of sensation it is, not to get stuck on it, not to create a feeling of aversion for it because it's something unpleasant and something which does not give you joy, and also not to create a feeling of attachment or wanting more of it because it's a subtle, nice, feathery or likable, so to say, sensation. That in crux is what you are taught repeatedly. So the process has to be with detachment, and you go through it up and down and then back from the bottom back to up and so on as many times as you can. And this is what happens through the day, and this is what happens on day 5, this is what happens on day 6, on day 7, on day 8, on day 9, on day 10. And in the evening of each of these days, just like on the evening of day 1, 2 and 3, you have your video sessions with Goenkaji, video sessions where you see him talking exactly what you need to know at the end of each day. He exactly knows what you might have gone through at the end of that day, in context of what was taught, in context of what day it was, in context of where it might have, what stage it might have led you to in terms of your journey. So he analyzes and scrutinizes and dissects everything in a very honest and a very wise, knowledgeable, as well as very witty and very funny and very likable, enjoyable manner. In fact, you really look forward to those video sessions. They are a much needed break from the intense meditation, where you can just sit back, relax in your own cushions, of course, and hear him out. And there's lots of pleasant moments, laughter, and also a lot of gaining of in-depth understanding of what you went through the whole day and why you were doing what you were doing and what you were being guided to. So you go through all that, and then you proceed to the next day. And every time you are not, now remember, there are many reasons because of which you're being taught Anapana through the first 3 days. And one of the most important ones is that your senses, because you've come from the outside world, your senses are very gross, you're externally focused. Now this is really important for you, this practice of Anapana, to bring you inwards deeper and deeper, to make your awareness even more subtle. And when it becomes this subtle, you are way more easily able to notice the sensations on every single part of your body, which you otherwise might not have been able to observe or even be aware of, because your senses become so subtle that the sensations which you might not have noticed or even felt become very noticeable. You become very aware of them. You can feel them deeper. You can sense them right away as you move your awareness on every part of your body. If you do not feel sensations on any particular part of body, you're also told how to deal with that, not to get engaged or involved with that, exactly how to deal with that. You're taught everything. You're guided to everything. So if you find to begin with that you're not being able to, or at any point of time during Vipassana, that you're not really able to, sense things, or your ability to perceive sensations, feel them, is not really that focused or that deep, you're always guided to go back to Anapana for the time being, to focus only on the area beneath your nostrils, above your mouth, and to focus on Anapana for as long as you think is required. For you to become more you know you to be able to come back to practice Vipassana till you feel your concentration, your focus has become right, and you can start observing sensations on your body all over again. Then you come back to Vipassana. So otherwise, if you can do that, Vipassana is what you will be doing for all the rest of the days, through the hours, right from morning and till evening at 9 o'clock. So that's what happens. You have assistant teachers, of course, for any doubts you have. Also during the breaks, during the lunch hour, post your lunch, there is you can always, if you have questions, you can always go. There will be a special room for in the men's side and the women's side, where their respective assistant teachers would be there. And if you have a doubt post your lunch, you can always go there, get your name written, and you'll be given a time. You can wait there outside, and you'll be called in by the assistant teacher to clear your doubts, to ask them exactly what you want to ask. If you're having some trouble with your practice, if there are doubts which have come up to it, if there are questions, if there are clarifications, if there is unease, if there's discomfort, whatever is coming, because a lot will be coming up on the surface. Now remember, this is Vipassana is said to be, as Goenkaji will also say, that it's a dissection, it's a surgery literally of your mind. So a lot of deeply buried things in your subconscious, at this cellular level, this life, past life, a lot of traits will be coming up through sensations to be released. You're releasing them. Make sure not to create new knots as you're opening the knots of births and births, and as you're clearing yourself the way you have never ever cleansed before, maybe since you were born or even in past lives. So because this is such a deep process, so much will be coming up on the surface. So much, it's like things which have been internalized, things buried deep, things will be coming up to be released, to be cleared away. So be aware, and that you might feel a lot of things which might feel unpleasant. You might feel heaviness, you might feel excessive anxiety. If you're someone who's felt anxiety, or if you felt depressed, you might feel them more intensely. There's might be certain traits which might come up more intensely. There might be bodily discomfort. So many things might be there. Do not worry, you will be guided exactly how you need to be. The assistant teachers, as I said, are there for every query, for holding your back, and you are on the path of Dhamma. So at any point, there are millions of pure light beings, Dhamma beings, including the enlightened one, the Buddha himself, who are holding your back, who are guiding your practice, your sincere intention to be freed of suffering, of misery, of the bonds right within you that hold you back. So all of that will be happening. Make sure to be disciplined and sincere in your practice. Make sure that you do not keep sleeping in the morning at 4:30, because after you are taught Vipassana on day 4, of course, it's mandatory for everyone to go to the hall, because you are being taught Vipassana for the first time. But after that, often, again, depending on center to center, you usually have an option of, practicing in the hall or in your room from 4:30 to 6:30. Of course, 8 to 9 is a mandatory group session in the hall. This is one of the 3 mandatory group sessions through the day. But as I said right in the beginning, it is always advisable to do the 4:30 meditation in the hall every single day. And it also, prevents the risk of you continuing to sleep in your room. There are people who do that, and not sometimes out of any fault, because this is so different. People are trying their best. Sometimes they're not able to. sleep is one of the obstacles. It's one of the obstacles, and you will also come across many other obstacles. You will realize that you will see yourself, you will see your shadow sides. There'll be many obstacles which will be coming up at that time, and you will realize, you will see them for yourself, what they are, parts of you which you never were aware of, acquainted with how they've blocked you. So that's okay, but be sincere and disciplined in these 10 days, no matter what it takes. So wake up and have a shower and go to the hall. So a lot will be coming up. Sometimes on Goenkaji, he warns you in advance. On day 7 or 8, a lot of people might feel discomfort because a lot of things by now have risen up from so deep, buried so deep, that they first come up. You see, like it's like clutter when we are cleaning up our houses, when we are spring cleaning, or when there's new renovation happening. First the clutter has to come out. Everything is in a state of disarray, and first all that has to come out. It's like the pus has to come out for the healing to happen. So be prepared for a lot of things coming out. It might be discomforting and unpleasant and uneasy and difficult. I went through a lot of difficult emotions personally, day 7 onwards in the course. From the evening of day 7, and day 8 and 9 were particularly difficult for me to get through because of the emotions, because of the intense things that were coming up and making me restless. So that's okay. Know that this is a part of the process. It will happen. So as I said in the beginning, right in the beginning, this does not mean that if you are looking for a treatment for a mental ailment, this is not what I'm saying. This is talking for average people. For any of us, this is a normal process. You might go through it, or you might not go through anything that intense, but it depends on what needs to come up for you. In this case, sometimes it comes up very strongly in one course. In another course it does not come that strongly because a lot has been cleared away. So it can depend from course to course, but we are talking about your first course here. So be prepared for all that, and that's how, and you're in noble silence, you're practicing silence all through this. Then as you move through the days and you come to day 10, which is your final full day of Vipassana, final day at the retreat. I believe in the morning, what happened with me in India was, it was in the morning, but here in the US, where I went for Vipassana, it was, I think, in the afternoon. You are allowed to break, after a group meditation, you're allowed to break your noble silence. You're allowed to, because they want you to get reacquainted with being the way you would be, because the next day you're going out into the world. So they want to give you some time to get reacquainted back to the way you would be in the outside world. So they're not going to push you immediately out, because sometimes it can get too sensitive. So they are, like, in a way sensitizing you in advance. So you're allowed to break your noble silence. Of course, this does not happen in the hall. You can never talk in the hall, in the meditation hall, or outside it. You're allowed to talk outside your room after the breaking of noble silence. You're allowed to talk in the lunch area, in the lunch hall, and you will notice the difference on day 10. You will realize your capacity and the capacity of people to speak when the noble silence is open. You realize this capacity, our capacity to speak, and our need to want to engage when you go for lunch for the first time after the noble silence has been broken, where you used to eating in silence and everything was conducted in silence and peace. There'll be a lot of chatter, but of course it feels like a new exchange. We are not monks yet. It feels good to be able to share your experience. This is also the time when you get acquainted personally with a lot of people whom you have been observing, because no matter whether we are taught to turn inwards, we do notice who is around us. We do notice people on the way to and fro here and there. We do notice the people who are sitting on the cushions around us. So this is the time when we get acquainted with a lot of people who we've just been maybe observing silently or by default. So you get talked to, you probably end up making some great acquaintances, or maybe sometimes friendships, but you get to know people deeper. You can exchange numbers for future practice. You can do a lot of things. You can also, I think there are books and all laid there. You can purchase books or CDs, a lot of things on the practice on Vipassana, and a lot of extra information on details of Vipassana meditation, meditation and other books written on the subject, so there's a lot there. And this is also the time, the last day, day 10, is also the time when you can, go ahead and repay. This is like the kind of dakshana. This is the time when you can repay something for what you have received in equal exchange, when you can go ahead and offer a donation. And remember, you will never be asked, nobody will come to you. This is always announced in a group setting that now this is the time when donations will be accepted in the main in the lunch hall area, and people who want to donate can come there. And at this time, you will also be returned your wallets. At the time when you were giving your phones and everything away, remember I told you that everything will be kept in the lockers before the start of the course. This is also time when you give away your wallets and all and everything, because it's all kept safe in a pouch, in a zippy pouch in the separate lockers. So you're also given your wallets, and you can go ahead and make your own donations, whatever donation you think is right, whatever amount you feel is right. No questions, no suggestions at all, no suggested amounts, nothing at all, directly or indirectly, from as little to as much you would like to pay. It's totally anonymous. You pay there. If you want your receipt, you're given a receipt. There's no one else looking at what you're paying. There's no one over your head. It's between you and the person you are giving that amount to, and that's it. Even if you don't pay, there's no one who's going to come to question you. But as I said, I don't think that's likely. Everybody would want to do that. You would want to, according to each one's capacity. And this is how the entire next batch will come after you for the next retreat will be sustained. So this is, you have given back in offering what you have received. You have received way much more, which is not quantifiable. It is invaluable. This is your way of giving something back to the continuation of this dawn of Dhamma which is happening here. That's how the courses continue. That's the beauty of Vipassana. And then, of course, you can give your phones and everything back once again. I don't think I was given the phone on 10th day. Here in America and India, I was, surprisingly. You can give your wallets back, or you can take your wallets back with you in the room. And because this is the last day, the rest of the things continue as usual. There's no talking inside the meditation hall, as I said already, and it happens till the night. And then you are very happy when Goenkaji in the final day tells you this is the day 10th and you've completed day 10th. He counts days with you each evening, and when he says this is day 10th and you have completed day 10, and it's such a feeling of joy and achievement, and also I know relaxation, that you can go back home the next day, and it's so much anticipation and excitement that you can hardly wait lots of times. And that's what happened. Next day again, you wake up on day 11, even though you will be going back home, but the morning meditation does happen exactly as it's supposed to be. This is the only meditation which happens on day 11, the 4:30 to 6:31, and go ahead make sure, of course, this is done in the hall with everyone else. Receive the instructions, receive the final instructions, everything. And then you have a special breakfast usually on this final day when you're going back home, before you go back home, where usually extra things are made, extra some more richer food is made and all, so that's what happens. You can exchange pictures, phone numbers, talk to whoever you want to. And then also there is assigning of duties. Very important. Assigning of duties before you head off home, because they want to, of course, this is also voluntary, because it's everybody who's in the center, whether it's the food servers, whether it's people taking care of your rooms for you if anything goes wrong, whether it's the managers on the female side or the male side. Whatever is happening, it's all Vipassana people, students like, you and me, who have done the courses earlier, and then they are allowed to serve. They are serving. They're gaining the mind this way by serving. So they're all volunteers like us. Nobody's getting paid for any of their services, remember. So you are absolutely encouraged to offer your services in helping them clean and prep up the center in whatever is required, so that It is, in a pre-prep stage for the next retreat, which might start in a few days. So there are duties. You can offer your name for duties which you feel you'll be able to, help in voluntarily. You can take the kitchen duty, where it's about cleaning and the utensils and the kitchen cleaning, because the 10-11 days food has been cooked, things have been done there, so final cleaning. You can take duties in the meditation hall, where you take off cushion covers and you take away all the cushion covers and put them in their because for 10 days the cushions had stayed where they are. So now it's time to clean the hall, take away the cushion covers, the cushions, the clean up, everything else. Or you can take other duties, outside duties, of other areas. So whatever you are able to, it's great to go ahead and get your name on the list of voluntary duties before you leave the center. You can, if you're going on your own, it's great if you can offer, if you have a vehicle, if you can offer lifts to people who need lifts, who need a ride to a location which is possible for you to give them a ride to, or which is on your way. It's always great to do that. And or you can, in this case, you can also coordinate with people who are going together, so that that your duties are matching, so that it's not like if you need to leave early and you've taken a corresponding duty, there is someone who needs to leave with you who has taken a duty which will require them to be there for much longer. So make sure to coordinate those things accordingly. And that's how it is, and that's how you end this day, and you go back home with full of all that you've gained, full of wanting to share and all that. And this is how it happens. So well, now we come to the part of how to maintain all that you have gained from this life transforming experience. Each would have gained exactly what they needed to have gained from you. Will have your own specific individual experiences. You're always told you're never meant to compare or analyze your experience with anyone else's. That's not how it works. You're never meant to do that ever spiritually. So this is also what holds true for Vipassana. You will have gained your own insights. You will have learned your own things. You will have received your own revelations and awarenesses. But what you are definitely guided to is, before you leave, is to keep up the practice twice a day, 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening, as the best way to ensure that you continue reaping fruits of Vipassana throughout your life. Because this will not happen. You will often, when you come out of a 10-day Vipassana, you feel a lot of changes and benefits in your life, directly or indirectly. It is there for you to see in how you feel in your circumstances. Sometimes there have been blocks and stagnations, and suddenly you come and you realize they've been cleared away while you were in meditation. A lot of things happen. Sometimes 180-degree changes in life happens in a lot of things, and that's when you realize experientially that what is inside you is getting reflected on the outside of you, and not the other way around. So, but these effects will get, eroded as we start living our normal, regular lives with, being conditioned to everything outside, with having to live in an external world. Our vibrations will lower, everything will happen. So it is very important for us to do our best to keep reaping as much of the benefits of Vipassana in our life, so that our lives are constantly being guided by the light, streamlined, grounded. We're clearing of what is not working for our highest good. We are clearing of our own bondages. And for that, a morning and evening session of 1 hour each is highly, highly advisable. Now I come to the practical part. I know it is not always possible for people, especially after a few days have passed, to continue doing that. Not for everyone, morning or evening, either because of logistics, because they don't have the time, because the jobs are too demanding, because of things like that. But just try your best, whatever is possible. Maybe if you can just give half an hour morning and evening, or if that is really not possible despite you being really committed, make sure that once a day is definitely on absolute part of your program to practice Vipassana once a day. And I think evening for me is personally the ideal time to practice. And so in the evening you can always practice Vipassana. And the great thing is that ever since the one good thing which has come out of lockdowns, COVID lockdowns, because everything got closed, Vipassana centers got closed. So one good thing that emerged was a lot of online, everyday online Vipassana sessions started, something which was never there before. So people from all across can join in, say, because here in California, we have the Southern California group and we are all part of it. And it's through Zoom, and you're all given your links, and hundreds of meditators can join in. We have the sessions at 7 in the evening. On weekends, you have also in the morning at 7, and on weekends you have I think 3 hours available in the morning, and you can join in any of those hours, or if not for all 3 hours. So it's there, and you also have assistant teachers there online who can answer your questions, your queries. You can email them, or you can ask your questions right there during after the sessions each day, and that is, I think, one of the best things. So this is a great way. Personally, it's been a great way for me, because honestly, I have fallen off the practice lots of times, because there are other spiritual things also that are part of my life. I've not always been able to give time to Vipassana, but this has been a great way. These sessions, which have been, they inculcate a sense of greater discipline, and they, because you're practicing with everyone. It's a sense of a sangha, which is what we say, the sangha, and it feels like you're practicing with everyone, and it also gives you a sense of discipline that you have to be there at 7 each day. So make sure that at least once a day, if you're not able to do twice a day, for 1 hour, everyone can do that. It's a commitment. If you can take off 10 days or whatever you're doing to go for a Vipassana course, which can be so difficult to take off that kind of time, and when you're not talking with anyone, when you completely cut off from the external world, 1 hour a day is nothing. We can watch TV. We watch TV sometimes 1 hour. We can read books. We talk to people. We gossip. We do so many things, so 1 hour a day is a must, and you will, if you can even commit to this, you will see the changes in your life. They will be there for you to see. So it's you don't have to read about anyone else's experiences, or wait for them to tell you. If you do that, you will feel and see the changes in your life. I have seen it here personally. We see that, and when we practice, even with my husband, when we practice, we compare it from the times when we were not regular, we were not being able to, as compared to the COVID times, and it's amazing. The changes are amazing. The sense of peace, the sense of grounding, the sense of guidance in other areas of your life, it brings you. You can compare literally to the times when you're not disciplined. So this is something, guys, we're doing for ourselves, not for anyone else. You're not doing it for your wife, for your child. Of course, indirectly you are, because you're in all those roles, and what you go through, the person you become, everyone else reaps from that, and the clarity and the peace and the empowerment of your life, of course, naturally allows the others also to receive the benefits of that. But most foremost, you're doing it for your own self. Never forget that. So that is the best way, and give a gratitude. You'll be also, of course, to just before I end, I come to metta. I want to talk about metta. Metta is, loving kindness. You're taught how to give metta at the end of your Vipassana practice. You're taught by Goenkaji. You do it especially on the last day. Before leaving home, you give metta. You can give metta to yourself, your family members, your loved ones, those who've hurt you, those who've loved you. You give it to the world. You give it to all beings, animals, creatures, seen and unseen beings, to all life. This is a way for sharing the light of Dhamma that is flowing to you, the benefits of Dhamma that are flowing to you, with everyone else. And trust me, it works magically. A few hundred people and a few thousands, and a few lakhs people giving metta all around to the world is what makes the world a better place. Never underestimate the power of metta when it's been given by so many people. You are giving loving kindness to people. You're sharing, allowing them to share in these benefits. You can give metta especially to anyone. If you feel there's someone really on your mind, or if there's someone going through a hard time, someone in your family or a loved one, you can also give specific metta, and you can do general metta. You will be taught how to give the metta. It's the practice of metta bhavana. So loving kindness and grace, and you're sharing the benefits so that everyone out there may be free of their miseries, everyone may be happy, everyone may be peaceful, everyone may be truly harmonious. And which is also what we are doing for our own selves when we practice Vipassana. So well, I hope this this video was useful for you. This entire series was useful for you guys. Please go ahead and support the channel and share the useful information with others. And if there's anything else you would like to know of, something which I might have forgotten to clarify, go ahead and feel free to comment, and I will definitely answer you. So till we meet again in another video, take care. Namaste, and I wish you all so much peace, happiness, harmony, and true empowerment on the path of Dhamma in your life. Bye bye.